Okay, guys, Frank, your virtual general aviation aviator, and I am back in the Thunder Porter. I tried to do a custom livery, but for some reason I couldn't get the tail number to or the logo to show up. But I'm not going to worry about that anyway. So I am in November 633 Papa Charlie. I'm sorry, Papa Whiskey, and we are going to take a flight from looking at the the four flight app, a flight from Milford um, to Grand Canyon, and for a for some of this flight, we are going to parallel with the canyon. Let's see, I think I'm scheduled to fly to Bryce. I may actually fly. Just got a notice from explain.org. I think that was explain.org. But anyway, um, I am going to fly to the Grand Canyon. Now, the flight's roughly an hour and a half. Let's see, I think, let's pull Sky Vector back up. I had Sky Vector up, but I dropped it. And let's see. So, Sky Vector. You guys can't see Sky Vector, can you? There we go. Okay, so I am going to. This is. Oh, come on, guy. This is Milford here. So I got a 56 nautical mile flight to this VOR, which is Bryce Canyon, and then another 61 nautical mile flight to Page, PGA, to the PGA airport, and I'm following the VOR. Looks like there is some light precipitation in the area. Hopefully, it'll be moved out by the time I get there, and then I'm going to fly. Um, I'm going to follow this canyon here. This is Marble Canyon, so I'm going to follow Marble Canyon into Grand Canyon on and cross the Grand Canyon um, on to Grand Canyon National Park Airport, or Grand Canyon, yeah, Grand Canyon National Park Airport. Now, a little information here. Technically, the route that I should be taking is here, and then I should probably, let's see, let me do this again. The route that I should be taking would be here, and then um, I would need to find me a a some sort of, yeah, some sort of waypoint here, a GPS waypoint, and that way I would stay out of the Grand Canyon restricted area, because leave it to us, if we could in real life, with that, probably be, at any given time, um, 15, 20, 30 airplanes flying over the canyon on sightseeing missions, and creating all kinds of noise pollution, and even affecting wildlife that live in and around the canyon. But anyway, I digress. So technically this would be the route that I would take. My speed is going to be 120 knots, and it would take 214 nautical miles or 2 hours to fly that. Um, so, so in the interest of time, let's see, let's get rid of this guy here. In the interest of time, let's get rid of this guy here. In the interest of time, we're just going to fly this way. And I might even elect to just fly straight down um, and not fly to Page um, after all. Okay, but anyway, let's get back into aircraft. So, so yeah, let's get, okay, so let's get in the cockpit. So I just did the walk around and we are ready to go. And we're going to do a full checklist. Now, most flights take about 2 hours of pre-flighting, planning and pre-flighting before wheels come off the ground. So the fact that going through the checklist take a bunch of time is true to life. Okay, so um, flight controls unlock, check, and correct travel. Okay, so they are unlocked. Yeah, everything is unlocked and travels look good. Beacon light can come on, and my light panel is over here. And I'm gonna flip the beacons off just so you can see them come on. Okay, this is the beacon, and the way the beacon light works is we do strobes at the top and bottom. Now they shouldn't be actually on until I turn the master on. Okay, beacon lights. Okay, and then it went through the the checklist went through stuff that was already in the condition that was in the states that they should be in. So I could either go through them, um, or I can just pick up where it is, where the next one is. But I am going to go through them because I want to learn them. A lot of the immersion with flight sim is getting to know an aircraft. So condition level is cut off, and that's this guy. No, that's yeah, that's this guy here. Okay, condition level is off. Prop and outside air temperature is when it's above 10 degrees, then I need to feather it. Otherwise, I can set it full forward. And I haven't checked the weather yet, but I'm pretty sure that it's above 10 degrees. That would be 2.2 times 10 is 22.2 plus 32. So it'd be as long as it's above about what 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and I am a Fahrenheit person. Okay, um, yeah, so let's go ahead and move this guy full forward. And my honeycomb yoke is not adjusting it, but I can adjust it however I need to adjust it. Starter and ignition switches are off. Check. And booster pump switch is off. Check. Landing lights are off, and that's these two here. And I'm going to toggle them just to see. Okay. Um, Now this is kind of confusing where it says landing lights off slash up. So that almost makes it sounds like being up is off, but I'm pretty sure being down is off. Okay, radio master is off. Okay, it's my radio master here, and battery switch can come on. Now I've got the honeycomb yoke and I can toggle it with that, but that's this guy here. Check voltage, and I want to make sure that I'm over 24 volts. So let's get over there and take a looks peek. And this is 24 here. And so I'm looking good. Okay. And fuel system valve open and gated. And I probably need to find that valve. Oh yeah, this guy here. So it's open, and unfortunately there is no gate for it, but it's open. Okay, fuel quantity and totalized check. Okay, so my master is on, right? And so my fuel quantity indicator should be alive. Okay, so they're laying over here, and my tanks are full. Um, okay, so I'm good to go there. Fuel quantity and totalizer. Not sure exactly what they mean by totalizer. Engine quantity, engine instrument condition. Okay, engine instruments and the condition of them are fine. I don't see anything, nothing is spinning around and nothing look like it's broken. Or temperature should be above 26 degree, 40 negative 40, and that's a given. But here's my ore temp here, um, and yeah. So all right, continue to the next page. Um, so we're gonna turn the fuel pump on, and I hear it. I don't know if you can hear it either. Okay, and now I'm going to clear my prop, make sure I don't see anybody around, and I'm going to holler prop clear for somebody who might be behind the aircraft, so that hopefully they would get out of the way, and they should see my beacons on. Yep, so they are on, top and bottom. And incidentally, I can turn either the top or the bottom one on, but the positions in the switch is in the position to turn both of them on. Okay, so my prop area is clear, and now the next 1, 2, 3, 4 things I'm going to do in rapid succession. So I'm kind of going to, well, I'm going to explain what's going to happen. So I am going to turn the starter switch on and check for fuel flow. Then I am going to turn the ignition on and check to see that this guy here is above 12%. And if it is, I'm going to introduce fuel here and let the system fire off, and this guy here should come up to this red mark, hang for a second, and then immediately start to drop. If any of that does not happen, then I am going to hit this interrupt. I'm sorry, not interrupt. That's on a different aircraft that I'm thinking of. But what I'm going to do is turn the starter and ignitions off, and the fuel pump. I'm gonna turn all three of these guys off. Okay. Now I got a caution. It says if engine fails to light off within 10 seconds after selecting a low item, abort start. Allow a 30-second fuel draining period followed by a dry motoring run before attempting again. And dry motoring is just attempting to start the engine without introducing any fuel. And what that does is it burns any residual fuel that's in the turbines out. Okay, so we are ready. All right, and prop was cleared. Prop clear. So, all right, so I got fuel flow. Okay, oil pressure is coming up. You see the fuel flow is positive. Okay. I'm above 12%, so I'm going to introduce fuel. My ITT is coming up, and it should hang, and if it doesn't come back down, I'm going to shut down, and it's coming down. All right, my torque is coming up, and my oil pressure should be continuing to move towards that green. Okay, I am in the green. All right, so now I can shut off my starter. Well, let me just check things. Condition level low idle, and the starter can go off. Ignition can go off. I've already checked the oil pressure. ITT is stable below 600 degrees. And I've got a good start. Okay, after start, if engine start, the GPU disconnect. So now we are on the battery. Okay. So my generator switch can come on, and that gets rid of my generator failure indicator. And the generator warning light did go out. My volts should be at 2.8, and they are. This is my volt indicator here. And I know that this is 3. I can see the needle. I know it can be hard for you to see it. And positive amps. The amp meter on this aircraft is just barely moves, but it is positive. And NG should be above 51%. This is my NG here. Let me light up my panel a little bit. That might help you see stuff. Okay, so the NG is at about 55%, so I'm good there. And radio master can come on, and that's this guy here. And my avionics should come alive. Okay, set inverter to 1 or 2 as required. This is my inverter here, and it set it inverter 2, 1, and that's 2, so we just leave it on inverter 1. And avionics are on. Let's go ahead and turn on our transponder. That's part of the avionics to me. Okay, and let's go ahead and get our ADAS. I'm not sure that our ADAS, that it actually will tell us to get when to get the ADAS, so I am going to be proactive and get it now, or ASOS.
Cedar City Regal weather. Wind calm, visibility more than 10. Sky clear, temperature 12, dew point -9. Altimeter 2992.
Alright, we'll check again in a minute. Alright, frequencies. Unicom. And did I lose the ADAS? The ASOS? Okay, I'll put that back in. Okay, and then once we climb out, we go to center. Okay, now I want to recheck my ADAS, my ASOS.
Cedar City Regal weather. Wind shear alert. Wind 180 at 20, gust 32. Visibility more than 10. Rain. Sky conditions 33,000, overcast. Temperature 21. Dew point -6. Altimeter 2976.
2976.
Cedar City Regal weather. Wind shear alert. Wind 180 at 20, gust 32. Visibility more than 10. Rain. Sky conditions 33,000, overcast. Temperature 21. Dew point -6. Altimeter 2976.
So I'm hoping you guys can hear this. But anyway, so I've got some high winds and a wind shear alert. If you look out front, you can see that windsock, and each of these stripes is roughly 5 knots. So all of the stripes are in the air. So I've got winds at 5, 10, 15, over 20 knots just looking at the windsock. So I've really got some strong winds. Okay, avionics set, on and set. Compass is synchronized. Yep. And let me find my heading. Okay. What I want to find out is what runway I want.
Cedar City Regal weather. Wind shear alert. Wind 180 at 20, gust 32.
180. So I've got runways 16 and 34. So that means that we're going to do 16. I'm way down here at 34. So I do know that I want to taxi to the runway furthest from me. Okay, so compass is synchronized. Artificial horizon. Let's get that set. I like for it to be about right here. Okay, and and before taxiing, okay, so passenger secure, and I don't have any seats. I didn't realize that I'm configured for cargo. Let's see if we can get some passengers on board. I'm not sure that's putting passengers in or not. Okay, so my weight balance looked good, and I got 4 souls, including myself, on board. Did put that chair in, but I didn't put the chair in here. There we go. Okay. So we got 4 souls on board, and so, and of course I will go ahead and brief them at this time. Landing lights as required, nav lights. Okay, so right now I'm going to turn my taxi lights on, which in this case is my landing lights. And it's dark enough for me to go ahead and turn navs on, even though I don't really need it. And I can feel the wind blowing the aircraft. Okay. And if I look real close, I can see the aircraft move. That's how high the winds are. Okay. So I am flying a tailwind, a tail dragger. So I got to keep that in mind. So no slamming on brakes. Okay. It's funny that I'm finding a windsock at the location that I'm at, but I'm glad I am. So I can tell you what we want to do is taxi up here and take off into the wind. Okay, so what I'm looking for is to see how we're going to taxi there. And yeah, so it looked like the only way to get there is the back taxi. Okay. Okay, so this is, I think this is Milford. Just bear with me a second. You can't see what I'm doing, but yeah, this is Milford. Milford Briscoe. Milford Briscoe traffic. Pilatus 633 Papa Whiskey is taxiing to runway 16 via runway. We'll be back taxiing to runway 16. Milford Briscoe. Okay, let's get rid of the brakes. check our steering, make sure that we can steer with our rudders. And this aircraft does have beta, and I'm actually in beta mode. So beta mode with a little differential braking. And like I spun around a little bit further than I meant to. But I gotta remember that's the direction the wind is blowing. So what I want to do is turn the yoke, the stick into the winds. So that's why you see that the stick is turned that way. Milford traffic, Pilatus 6322 Papa Whiskey is back taxiing to runway 16, Milford. Let's make that radio call one more time and clear, just in case someone is landing. Now, to be honest with you, in these winds, I'm not really sure I am going to be able to take off. In real life, with winds this high, probably this would be a no-go. It would probably be a no-fly situation, at least with my skill level with this airplane at this particular date and time. One of the reasons I chose this airport, I knew that the winds were fairly high. I went to badweather.com and purposely chose an airport with some wind gusts, but that was probably over an hour ago. So I imagine that some of the winds have dissipated by now. I'm running Traffic Global. Traffic Global in the background. I'm also running SkyMax Pro in the background, which I'm rendering my clouds. I'm using Real World Weather Connector by SkyMax to inject real world weather into the sim. Okay, so here we start the beta up, and I should be able to take a right and go around and wind up right on the takeoff point. One thing about tail draggers is they inherently put the nose fairly high in the sky. So oftentimes in real life, depending on how high the nose is, pilots either have to lean forward or look off to the side in order to taxi. I'm able to lean forward, so to speak. And here, let me stop and do my run up. Okay, so brakes were okay, flight instruments were okay, and before takeoff, trim as required. Okay, these are my trim settings, and nose up, set this guy into the green, and this one right here, that looks like a, so I'm not sure which trim button that's going to control that. Let's see. That one's controlling the one that I just changed. Aileron, that's the look like a water trim, but I'm not sure. Brakes on. Not sure the brakes on. Brakes on now. Okay. Trim is required, so I'm not sure how to adjust this trim here. Flaps to take off, that's 28 degrees of flaps, and make sure that the flight stuff is free and clear. Okay, everything looks good there. It's free and correct. Altimeter set. That was 2976, I believe, and that looks good. Fuel quantity check. We got four tanks. Looks good. Beacon is on. Heat P-top. Let's see. P-top is this guy. Alright, P-top is on. Prop ice is not a factor. FCU is sensor line heater. Strobes are on. Oil temp is in the green arc. Instruments checked. I do have some rudder. I do have a rudder issue, but I don't know how to adjust it, which is this guy here, I do believe. Because this says rudder trim. Let's see, let's try going. But trimming that, affects this one, so I don't know. To ask some questions. Tail wheel lock. Okay. So let's go ahead and pull up. Well, I got differential braking, so I can go ahead and lock the tail wheel now and line up the differential braking rather than the free caster. Okay, rudder pedals free and correct. Tail wheel lock confirmed. The aircraft rolls straight. So let's do that now. Yep, give it some rudder and it is rolling straight. Tail wheel lock is confirmed. Condition level to high idle. So let's go ahead and unlock the tail wheel and go ahead and line up. This guy here is my angle of attack indicator, and the winds are so high that I am getting angle of attack that it is affecting the angle of attack sensors. So I should have a quartering headwind now. Okay, so I'm gonna set my head, excuse me, set my head bug to 1.6 and lock my tail wheel. Confirm that it rolls straight. It's confirmed. Condition level, go to high. And still in beta. Actually close to beta revert. I'm in beta, but the wind was pushing me backwards. Okay, takeoff. All right, torque 47, ITT 720, NG 105, and these are my maximums. Okay, so we are ready. Watching my torque come up, and I'm off my brakes. My feet are being repositioned. And I am airborne. And let me pull it back so you can see my stick. Because the winds are crazy. Alright, according to my turn coordinator, I am in coordinated flight at the moment. Right. So let me adjust my rudder. So now my rudder stuff looks a lot better and it feels a lot better because before I was literally holding the rudder all the way to the left trying to counteract this rudder condition, which I seem to be having some issue adjusting. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a takeoff checklist. Okay, so my RPM is at, let me bring that down to 2,000. Actually, it is at 2,000. It's in this green. It's a little bit above 2,000. NG should be over 103%, which is 101%, which is not. And the NP RPMs is 2,100, which is a little bit high, but that's okay because I am going to adjust, I think, shortly. Okay. So my speed is above, you know, I never did put in flaps, I don't recall. Yeah, I did. I got, I'm trying to point with my finger. I got flaps at 28%. And I remember putting them in now. Okay, so let me get back on course. Still flying my runway head. So flaps up, little back pressure until I build up some speed. Okay, boost pump can go off. And I want my oil temperature between 74 and 80, looks good. And landing lights can come off. And I want my ITT to be at a maximum of 695 degrees. So I need to back off until my ITT comes down. Actually that red line, I think was 695, so it looked like I was pretty good on that. Okay. And this is how you get to know an aircraft, just going through the checklist. Okay, so the oil temperature, and okay, so that would be cruise. So let's go ahead and look at our flight plan. Oh man, I did not put my waypoints in. Okay, so we'll do that now. And we're planning to fly at 8,500 feet. We took off at about 5,000 feet, I believe. So let's get Sky Vector back up. Bryce Canyon and PGA. Bryce Canyon is BCE. And I know you can't read that. So that's Bryce Canyon. Select that. And then Page. It's Page PGA. And then Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon. And back. Now. Okay. So what we don't have is a working autopilot. So I'm still climbing. I'm glad I don't have to land at Milford with those winds. Let me go ahead and turn left and start my own course. Try and use that rudder to help keep me line coordinated. All right, so when you don't have autopilot and you're kind of in a situation that I'm in, okay, I'm blowing through my altitude, so let me slow down a little bit. not slow down, but just lower my, peel off some of this altitude. So what I want to do is pick points to fly to. So I want to look out my window and find something to fly to. Now I see a big mountain right over here, and as long as I keep my nose pointed towards that, well, then which is probably this mountain here, then that's going to get me, that's going to keep me pointed in the right direction. All right, so I'm still a little bit above my chosen altitude. Altitude is not assigned. I am VFR. And I know the ADA said there was rain, but it also said that the clouds were super high. I think I heard something like 32,000 feet in rain. Go figure. We are in the desert. In fact, I'll play 80s again in a second. Oh man. I gotta work on my scans. Because as you can see, okay, now I'm at altitude. All right. So there's a site picture that I'm looking for, and if I can remember this site picture, and sometimes it can get hard to hold a site picture in the mountains because the terrain, the horizon, doesn't necessarily stay even. Okay, so oil temperature check is okay. Max ITT is, can power back a little bit so the ITT doesn't run so close to 700 or 695. Okay. And let's keep that mountain, the tip of that mountain off my nose. Okay, engine instruments. Okay, quick sweep and set the head and bug to what I want to fly to. Now, even though the autopilot in this aircraft won't follow a nav, I think the head and wings level settings do tend to work, so I can turn on the heading and I want to turn it off. What it's doing is it's trimming autopilot, is trimming at places that I don't want to be. Let's see if I can reset it. Come on. All right, so that turns it off. And trim manually here. See, the terrain is is coming toward the aircraft. So I'm definitely I think I might feel better if I go ahead and climb up to 10.5. So I got my ITT set pretty high, but I can give it just a touch more torque to expedite my climb. Now, let's see what's next before landing. Okay. The Porter is a super slow aircraft. I mean, you can see I'm maxing out at roughly 110 knots. It reminds me of the de Havilland Beaver or the Otter, which measures speed in miles per hour, and it's relatively slow. So I'm almost at 9,500 with 1,000 to go. So I want 10.5. Let's see, east is odd. And I'm actually flying east, so I really need not just 9,500. So let me, yeah. I should be flying in odd. What am I trying to say? Altitude. So 55, 75, 95, 11.5. If I was going westward, I would be looking at 65, 85, 10.5. Okay, so now I do have the electronic trim on the yoke. That's what I'm using to trim. And I think these aircraft have a trim wheel. Where is the trim wheel on this thing? Which I don't really know. Okay, so I am moving out of sync with the direction that I want to fly, but I do know that this peak, the highest peak, is where I want to head towards. Flying up at 1,000 feet per minute. Make sure that I stay over. Even though I'm in a simulator, I can literally feel the craft. So I'm flying straight, but if you look at, I'm flying directly towards that peak, but if you look at the GPS, you see I'm being pushed off to being pushed off to the right. So let me kind of find a new something to fly to. So see this peak here? and where it drops, that's my new destination. So that's what I want to point my nose to. Oh man, I wound up 1,000 feet above my designated altitude. So I can actually pick up some speed while I'm getting back down. I guess I need to scan my instruments a little bit more often. Now, one thing that I'm seeing is I'm looking at my artificial horizon and my vertical speed indicator, and they are not matching up. So let me adjust this a little, and because I want to know that when that guy's is centered, that I'm straight and level. But right now, I don't want to be straight and level. I want to lose 800 feet, 1,000 feet, 900 feet. That is. I'm sorry, because I want 9,500, not 10,5. That way, if I have any oncoming traffic that's headed to Milford on the same path that I'm on, then if he's 1,000 feet, if there's 1,000 feet vertical separation, we don't have to worry about hitting each other. If by chance we don't see each other. Doing 120, almost 120. I'm still in the green arc, which is good because with the winds, and I think the winds may have died down some. Just the rudder trim just a little. Okay, I'm at 9,800. Wings just about level. I'm still hand flying. See the stick. Okay, so I want to hold the altitude right here. center my altitude. Every time I think I got it trimmed so that I don't have to worry about it, and I take my mind off of it and I look back at it, then I find that I'm way off. So I got to climb 700 feet per minute, but I should run out of momentum. So I pull the torque back a little bit. Okay, add a little torque. Pull the torque back just a touch. But I want my speed. I really do. All right, so let me find a new point. I don't think I'm crabbing as much. So this guy right here is my new point. In fact, I got this little tip right here. If I fly towards it, then it look like I may be good. So let's try that and see. I think we're good if we fly towards that. Now I am using the GPS, but I could be using VORs too. In fact, I set up waypoints for VORs. Bryce Canyon is 112.8. Okay, so flip that in. And 1.4 is what we want. Put our head bug on 1.4. And actually 1.3. 1.13. Let's try to last time I did this, my altitude started swinging. So, okay, the out is not on, so that's a good thing. So all I want is the head. All right. So look, Mom, no hands. So the altitude is holding the head now, which is good. All right. And once we get to this VOR here, the next VOR is going to be, and I'll pull that up for us. The next VOR is going to be 1176. So 1176. Okay, so we can just kind of sit back and relax at this point, but we are climbing at roughly 100 feet per minute, so I am going to drop our torque just a touch, and see if we can't bleed off some altitude. With turbines, it usually take it a few seconds to respond. Okay, so now we wings level. And now we are losing maybe about 50 feet per minute, and let's see if we can get it down to roughly 100 feet per minute, and get it back down to 95. Now I am looking forward to getting my Bravo throttle because it has the throttle has a trim wheel on it, and I'm hoping to be able to trim stuff really easily. So now that I've got the autopilot engaged and I'm flying the heading, then I can actually look out of the window. But I tell you what, and I hope, and sometimes I have, this has been known in my case to break stuff, but let's see if it would track the nav. Okay, so we at VOR, okay, VOR. All right, make sure that it's VOR, and let's turn the autopilot to nav. And I think it's following this course here. So I need to adjust this guy too, but it's not lining up. See, this is not lining up. Okay, I'll tell you what we need to do probably. 112 here, let's get 112 here. 112.8. All right, now let's adjust it. Let's see what happens. It's still not reading it. And let's see. So I don't, okay, I'm in GPS mode, so let's change this CDI to this guy. All right, now it's lining up, okay. And all right, watch my altitude here. So it should track ahead of 125. I mean 125. And that's just not right. So let's go back to ahead mode. Let's go back to ahead. Our station is at 112. Should be what we want to do is fly direct to the station, to Bryce Canyon, and I'm verifying it's 112.8. Okay, so that's correct. 112.8. 112.8. Say I am in altitude reporting because I don't recall setting that manually. I didn't do lights, radio, and camera, but I think the GPS said it once it realized I was airborne. All right, so I'm still losing about 50 feet per minute. Got 150 feet to descend, so it should be about a minute and a half. I should be down to the altitude that I want. 50 feet per minute. So, not 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So it should take me 3 minutes to get down to 95. And I'm a little bit off on my heading. So let me make a manual adjustment here. Change that to 120. I think that was the peak. That might have been the peak that I was looking at way back when. Or it may not. Might have been this peak. I'm not sure. So let's see what our weather is. Our nearest station is Bryce Canyon. Okay, so that's consistent with what we want. Our altimeter is 2992, and winds are 140 at 13 knots. So high to low, look out below. So we're going low to high. So as we adjust, then the airplane should get lower. So we shouldn't be at any risk of running into any mountains accidentally. Wish I knew why this wasn't working. Okay, 2992. I think what I saw, so let's go ahead and dial that in. And we must have picked up a thermal or something, because picked up some altitude. So you can see this throttle stick coming back as I pull it back to drop off, go ahead and get down to the altitude that I want before I run into some traffic. The problem with that is by doing so, pulling out the torque and decreasing my speed. Okay, so I should be arriving to my waypoint anytime. So the GPS is already changed. Let me change this guy here. And let me turn this back on GPS. Sure, I can't see it. All right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it's so far off. Because, let's see, the yellow is okay. This is VOR1 on the right, I guess. And 116.7. 117.6. Well, now it looks like it's doing what it's supposed should do. Let's try it. Going to nav mode again. I need to be tracking a course of about 130. Let's go back to heading. And let's change our head bug to 130. 140. I can do 140. I got 56 nautical miles, and actually I can use a little bit more adjustment. Let's go 150. And you see how I lost the, you see me adding throttle back because now I'm way too low. I am not doing a good job tracking my altitude when I'm hand flying. Actually, I'm not really hand flying. I'm using the head bug to fly. I can't use nav because nav doesn't seem to be doing what I want it to do. I'm picking up some speed. And look like the trim the trim has decided to hold me right here at 9,100. You see how it's trimming, and that ain't what I wanted to do. So if I hit this guy, all right, let me try vertical speed up. Vertical speed and turn that upward. And the VS and VS. That +4, yeah, 500 feet. Okay, so now I am using the vertical speed to climb back up to altitude. And when I get to altitude, I'm just just going to trim it down to 1. See if I can give you a better look at what's going on. So vertical speed +5, and so I need to come down to 1 to 0. Let's go with 1. Which is 100 feet per minute. All right, so I'm where I want to be. So let me make the vertical speed 0, and it should hold this 9,500. Ah, guys, looky, we can see the Grand Canyon. Well, not Grand Canyon, but Marble Canyon. I think this is Marble Canyon. Why am I not seeing this aircraft on my 4 flight out? You know, I stopped using 4 flight for a long time, and now that I'm using it again, it's not working the way that it did before. It's not working right, because I should be able to see my aircraft. Pardon me a minute while I just go check this set here. Network, iPhone broadcaster, all mapping apps, and let me see if I can find what IP address this iPod is on. Okay, so let's try settings. I'll just be quiet and, oh man, look at my path here. I'm way off, so I need to go back. I didn't know that I was going to cross that that line so soon. Okay, so fly there. I'm not really used to using an iPad, so I'm not sure what I want to look at to get my IP address. Found it. 168.192.214. Sorry guys, just bear with me. Let's see if that fixed it. Yep, that fixed it. Okay. Now, looks like I am flying away according to the iPad. Let me go back to nav. Because that look, let's see, nav and nav here. Let's see, it's going the wrong way. So if I turn this, then it should line up. Well, it's in GPS mode, CDI mode. Okay, so it should line up. All right, now and it should turn to fly. But it's still flying east and it's turning north, and that is not the way that we want to go. Maybe I got the pointer upside down, so let's try adjusting the pointer. Maybe I had the train go upside down, I think. Alright, so I'm turning back south now, which is good. Oh, you know what? My ForFlat app is not flying to Page. It's flying directly to Grand Canyon. So I'm actually flying in the right direction. Yep, so I'm good. Let me put Page in the ForFlat app. Insert 4 Grand Canyon. That was P. Insert. And that fixed it. So now I got some redundancy on my navigation. And I'm actually flying the nav as opposed to the head. Yep, vertical lock is the nav. So this is a long flight for such a slow airplane. When I do this flight in the PC-12, what, half an hour? Since it flies twice as fast, then it would take half as much time. Now, I do have real world weather on right, and I'm seeing some weather on I'm not sure why I'm not seeing weather on this app. Look like it's clear. Bear with me, guys. Check wrong button. Let me check this and make sure that the weather injector Yep, from custom METAR. So, so the weather injector should be working. Maybe I'm just in a, maybe the weather just hadn't gotten to where I'm at. Put it up on 4th flight. See if I see the weather. And I see some high clouds, but no real rain. 4th flight. So I'm going to be quiet so I can speed things up. Okay, so we are getting to page, and I think what I'm gonna do as soon as I get over the water, I'm gonna go ahead and make my turn towards Grand Canyon National Park. So should be over the water in about 5 minutes, or maybe even less than. Less than. Looks like I'm over the ground at 100 knots. I've got 110 indicated. The ground speed is 100, 101 knots. So I am definitely dealing with a headwind. So since I've got the GPS set up and it should hold my vertical speed, I'm actually going to add some torque and speed up a little bit. Too bad we're not going to catch a tailwind. So with the winds, so according to my ForeFlight app, I've got a 28 knot headwind. That's terrible. Let's see how we're looking on gas and check out oil temp. Oil temp look okay, I guess, look okay. My voltage look okay, everything looks fine. So this aircraft would make a great instructor-led aircraft because the panel, the fuses, or the circuit breakers are modeled. I did not realize that until today. So just to host a conversation while we're in flight, an instructor could log in. Let's see, I've never done this before. So manage keyboards. I guess I don't even know how to enable the instructor station. Maybe here in I don't know where. General, maybe. Show ATC, show instrument, simulate blackout, use experimental flight model, show ATC, disable, output network data to log, and output time to data. I just turned that on. And sound, graphics, network, multiplayer maybe, data. I don't know. I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to figure it out in a stream, but it's just that sitting here flying. And I thought if I could learn something new, then I would share it with you in real time, but it's not happening. And I guess what I can do is Google it on the iPad. While I'm waiting to make my turn. That to happen. Okay. Quite know what I'm doing here with this guy because I don't use it very much. In fact, 4 flights is the only thing I really use it for. Tried to Google it, but it looks like I'm getting some instructor station on explaining level. So what I am doing is I am using the iPad to try to find what I'm looking for, and what I am coming up with is looks like it's not that straightforward. It's not a the network IS option was removed. Next link to event set up as a pop-up window with the I key by default, but on the second monitor. Yeah, so it's at the moment it's more than I wanna work on. All right, so I am over the water. I am, and I've already tuned the VOR to 113.0, which should be Grand Canyon. So if we flip that in, and then turn this guy to line up, then it should fly to it. There we go. And that might put us over the top of Marble Canyon. So I think this is Marble Canyon to the right, and dead ahead could be Canyon to actually see it. So I think that what I am looking at is Marble Canyon here. And it's not depicted on the, yeah, it's not depicted on the GPS, on the Garmin GPS. But the ravine is from here to here. I don't know what that's called, but I think the river flows down through Marble Canyon. I guess had it not been for Grand Canyon, this would be a sight to behold. So if anybody were to get to the ledge and see, wow, that's a really cool canyon, then, and was impressed, then they would be blown away once they reach the Grand Canyon. Now, can you imagine can you imagine what, 300-400 years ago, trying to get to the West Coast with horses and wagons and maybe even women? I doubt too many. Well, I don't know. I don't know how many families made the trek, but early on, before you had any expectation of what you were going to run into, can you imagine getting to this and having to find a way across, especially the Grand Canyon? Trying to get a wagon train down that canyon and back up the other side, and I guess if you go far enough south, you can go around it, or if you go far enough north, you can go around it. Oh man, how about that? Look at those mountains way in the background. Those ought to be some relatively high peaks. Those peaks, not sure how far away those peaks are. So I'm recording this. I started to stream it. I'm recording it, so probably what I would do is speed all of this up and just take the sound out and put music in. I don't know, but that's the beauty of being able to record it. Now I'm flying X-Plane, and I think I've got some ortho scenery here, so my scenery shouldn't be bad, but I bet this canyon is truly awesome in Microsoft Flight Sim. Looks like I need to go ahead and add some altitude. So let's go +1. And let's hope we don't forget 100 feet a minute, and we need 300 feet, so that's 3 minutes. I could have cut a substantial amount of time off had I flown direct to the Grand Canyon. And technically, I'm in violation of the airspace because at this time, inside, just inside restricted airspace, or I'm not gonna say, well, it's no fly airspace. You gotta have permission to fly where I'm at, especially at the altitude that I'm flying at. I could probably fly over it. I don't know how high the restrictions go, but I can probably fly over it if I'm some height above. You know, if I'm in Class A airspace, you know, that's 10,000 feet, or roughly 14,000 feet above the canyon, then I can probably fly over it without any violations. Okay, so I can back off. Set this back to 0, I mean. Let the nose come down. And she really want to take her time. So I'm going to set it to -1. And we'll set it to 0. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll set it to -1. Get it down. Okay, so let's so we should be losing 100 feet a minute, and looks like we're wings level. Don't know why. So we'll just drop another 100 feet. It's like our vertical speed is off about 100 feet per minute. But what can we do? Okay, so looks like we are about 85 miles from our destination. Let's see, maybe even closer. So this guy here, click there, and we're 50 miles, 48.7 miles from our destination. Enjoy. sure that the opening that we're seeing up there is the Grand Canyon. So I got 95, so let me trim it right here and at 9,500, and we should hold that altitude now. Maybe they've been there all the time and I just haven't noticed them, or I don't know. There's no way to look. I could look at another video, another cockpit. But they seem to be dormant, not really doing anything, whatever, for whatever reason they're there. So I'll figure it out later. Alright. So let's move our torque. Well, we got our torque as high as we dare, which means that we are flying as fast as we can in this aircraft. What are we over the ground? We are 111 knots over the ground. I tend to round. If I say 111, I tend to say 110. If I say 113, I might say, you might hear me say 115 or 110. But I tend to round. So this is a flight PC-6. Just a tidbit of information. 2020 is the last year that Pilatus is going to produce the PC-6, this aircraft. Let's see. Pilatus. To stop production, and let's search for that. Okay, they have already ceased production. So according to Business Travel Jet, the Pilatus PC-6 production to end in early 2019. The Pilatus aircraft will cease production of the PC-6 unpressurized turboprop single in early 2019 as it turns more of its attention to the PC-24 twin jet. More than 500 of the multi-role Pilatus PC porters have been produced at the manufacturer's Stan's headquarters since 1959. making it one of the longest continuous production runs in aviation history. So the Pilatus, they started producing it in '59, and it ran to 2019. What is that, 60 years? Yep, 60 years. And that is some production run. Nearly 100 were produced in the United States under license. Support will be provided to existing PC-6 customers for at least the next 20 years, according to Pilatus. So I would have thought that more than 500 of these aircraft would have been produced in that 60-year period. So 60 years, 500 aircraft. What is that per year? About 90, 95. It's a shame how calculator dependent I am. Okay, so we got, now what's going on? I got a calculator, and it threw up it's an ad supported calculator for my iPad. Can you believe that? And I'm one of those people who I despise ads. So we got 500 aircraft divided by 60 years equal 8.33 aircraft per year on average. I really would have thought that the average would have been somewhat higher than that. Okay, so we are coming up, I do believe, on the Grand Canyon. And according to ForeFlight, I should be running into some rain or weather. But I don't see no weather on my weather injector. So that's odd. Usually it's really pretty accurate to show me what's going on outside. Okay. So it's truly starting to get impressive. Still, I believe we're still more in the Marble Canyon than we are the Grand Canyon. So what I want to do is turn off the weather overlays, but I can't figure out how to do it. How far we're from our airport, 31 miles, 30.6 miles. And yeah, I do believe that that's going to be the Grand Canyon. Once we cross this peak here, we ought to really get a good view of the canyon. And as luck have it, the weather that I was talking about is just now starting to come in. What are the winds looking like? Winds 3 knots at 90. But over this canyon feels like it's a lot different. That beautiful. I would like to be here in real life. All right, it's my aircraft. Aircraft. So we're gonna do a little sightseeing. I normally don't fly a drone position, but I think we can appreciate the canyon a little bit better from a drone position. Guys who fly Microsoft Flight Sim are so used to this, to seeing flights in this drone position. Of course, you will be more used to the drone staying directly behind you, I guess, in about this position. But I believe we've got the Colorado River below us. Yeah, it's too much water to be anything but. Now we're in the quarter. Let's dive down in now. All right. So let's go down to the beta. This can only be done in the quarter. Of course, the foreflight does not like this at all. But see how I'm able to lose altitude. Of course, we couldn't do this in real life. I want to have a wing strike on that cliff there, so get over to the center. life. Many people really would probably be wrecked airplanes littering the canyon. All right, let's climb out. This is an extremely powerful aircraft. It has a really decent climb performance. So I'll pull it back so you can see me work the stick. Slamming out at 70 knots. My angle of attack looks good, except for every now and then I get a gust. And I am in the canyon, so 6,000 feet ought to put me above the canyon. So let's turn back on course. And let's engage the autopilot. Line up our this guy up. I got 3 of these, so I got more than I need. So I actually can take this guy away and I think I keep this guy because I can use it to fly to an ADF station. Okay, so I'm at 85. Actually, we can go down to 75, so let's do that. But I tell you what, let's just hold. Let's go to 85. Until we get fully out of the canyon. I said, I got this red on my flight path, which means that somewhere along the line I am still below grade. I still got some land that's higher than my altitude. The winds and something in this canyon. Oh, it's get our ADAS for the Grand Canyon. Find frequency.
Grand Canyon National Park Information Zulu. -100 Zulu weather. Wind 190 at 19 gust 29, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 11,000 scattered, temperature 16, dew point -2. Altimeter 2988. Arriving runway 21, departing runway 21. Advise on initial contact you have Zulu. Grand Canyon National Park Information Zulu. -100 Zulu weather. Wind 190 at 19 gust 29, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 11,000 scattered, temperature 16, dew point -2. Altimeter 2988. Arriving runway 21, departing runway 21. Advise on initial contact you have Zulu.
Got Zulu. Winds 190 gust to 29. Winds were 190 at 19 gust to 29. Is that right?
Grand Canyon National Park Information Zulu.
I should start.
-100 Zulu
if I
weather.
Can't remember weather. I
Wind
start
190 at 19 gust 29.
Yep,
visibility more than 10.
190 at 19 gust to 29. That's what I said. And there's our airport up ahead. See the lights. So let's level off. And one thing about the Porter is I have no fear of coming in too high. That's just not something to be afraid of in this aircraft, like where to be afraid of. You do not have to be concerned because it's approved for in-flight beta, so you can feather the props to beta, which will keep you from overspeed while you drop that nose and dive at almost whatever angle that you want. I've seen IRL on a YouTube video where a guy was at 10,000 feet and he went into beta and dropped down to, I think, 2,000 feet at 4,000 feet a minute. So in 2 minutes, he was able to lose 8,000 feet. Of course, you don't want to do that with passengers because it'll make your head feel like it wants to blow off, and it's just downright uncomfortable. Now, I had said earlier that I thought that I was looking at the river, and yes, I was. The river kind of winds into a horseshoe. Okay, yeah, it was the Colorado. See it on ForeFlight, and I can actually see it now, even on my GPS. Okay, so our runway, we're going to land on 21. 21 looks like it's going to be straight in. Winds are at 19, so we're going to have a quartering left headwind with gusts with a 10 knot increase showing as gusts, gusting to 2 knots. There's some artifacts there, like might be from the ortho. Or it could be some aliens. Some alien holdup. Okay. So I'm still VFR, and I probably need to talk the tower. Let's see where am I at? 10 miles out. Well, 11 miles out. And I am to the northeast. Grand Canyon Tower, Pilatus 633, Papa Whiskey is 10 miles to the northeast, inbound with Zulu 4-stop. Fly straight in and inspect runway 19. Pilatus, 6 Papa Golf, Papa Whiskey. Correction, 3 Papa Whiskey. 3 Papa Whiskey. All right. So let's, airport is at 6,600. We at 9,200. So we want to get down to 7,600. So let's go ahead on and do that now. In fact, let's hand fly this boy in. And we are leaving the canyon, guys. One more quick look at it. And that's because I, as PIC, want to take another quick look at it. All right. Miles out. All right, lumps, gas, undercarriage, gas lights, undercarriage, mixture, prop, and actually don't have mixture here. nudge them again. Grand Canyon Tower, Pilatus 633, Papa Whiskey, and final runway 21. There you go. Clear to land, runway 21. 3 Papa Whiskey. Alright, so we have our landing clearance. And we are hand flying it in. Gust up to 29 miles per hour. We are in a tail dragger. It's a little late to consult the checklist. At this point, I think it's more important that I fly the aircraft. But I'm going to check this in my head. So we did. This is turbo, so glumps don't quite work, but gears down, landing lights are on, tail wheel is locked, fuel boost pumps are engaged.
500.
Final runway 21 according to ForeFlight. And you can see this crab angle that I'm at. Flaps. 8 degrees of flaps. And bring it in there. And let's try not to ground loop it. Take back off. I really didn't. So let's try it again. And if I don't set it down this time, go around. Ground looping it. The daggone grass. Can you believe that crap? Get off the grass. Get off the damn grass. That pisses me off. Even with the winds winding up in the grass, but I was trying not to tail loop, but trying to manage my power and was giving it too much power. Took back off, And by the time I realized that I was had so much power in, I was already up on. All right. Find that data point. Catch this taxi. Whoa, look at that. Talk about bright. I haven't seen it. Now I'm thinking the brightness is from the direction of the sunlight, but it's not going away. So that apparently is a graphics thing. Actually, it doesn't look bad being this bright and everything is lit up. I can see. But I don't think it's supposed to be this way. I don't know what happened. This aircraft is so complex that there's no telling. A lot of traffic. Park. A lot of traffic at this airport. I did not like winding up in the grass. Whoa, look at the ground loop. Why am I ground looping? Close enough. This is where we're gonna park. All right. So, set the brakes. Pump off. Come on, brakes. Set the brake, the mouse, and then move the mouse and the brakes disengage. Okay. Trying to get here to this power button. I didn't clean up my aircraft properly once I got off the runway. I did raise the flaps, but I didn't turn off the landing lights. Never did turn the strobe lights on the whole flight. So some things are getting dinged for. Okay, leave the beacon on until I shut down. And let's feather it out so the prop will stop. So I don't know why the panel is changing color so badly. But anyway, it is what it is. Okay, and then turn the rest of my switches off. Throw on my covers. Tie it down and get out. And I guess I can open this one door. Step down on this guy. And get out. Okay, so I know that was a long flight. I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun. I enjoyed it, even if you didn't. And I can't imagine anybody watching the entire flight in real time, but that's what flying is about. It's about the immersion, and I was fairly immersed in this flight. Anyway, have fun, guys, and until we do the next one, ciao.